When I heard that the property right next to us was going to go on the market and go up for sale, I knew immediately that we really needed to expand Roloff Farm, make it bigger and better.
It's just one of those things that time heals everything.
Yeah.
And the more time that passes, the more out at peace I am about it all, It's gonna be a sad, sad day if we sell the farm. But also it's been a great thing for the last, just because it goes away doesn't mean that negates all the greatness we had with it.
It's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It's Monday, May 16th. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today we have another video, round 2. This was something I meant to do last Friday, but then I got completely distracted with my camera. Then my Instagram fell apart because of people. And today I'm just, I was busy doing my first video, but I'm glad I waited because over the weekend more information came out and it's been kind of a mess with the Roloffs the last few weeks. So season 23 starts tomorrow, May 17th, and we are in for a doozy. So up until now, Matt Roloff has had I would say, our difficult relationship, not with all of his kids, but with some of his kids. Last year, Jeremy and Audrey Roloff, who had wanted to buy the farm for years, let everyone know that they would not be buying Roloff Farms because there was some strings attached. I don't know what those strings were, but there was strings attached. And Matt then went on a podcast and he said something about how he wished that his kids would all work together, that it would be sort of a family thing. That would be sort of the best possible option for him. And then in this last season of Little People Big World, Zach and Tori expressed interest in the farm. Now, leading up to this new season, we find out that they've moved to Washington on just the other side of the border of Oregon. It's about an hour away from Roloff Farms, but it follows them making an offer on the farm and it didn't come to fruition. And in the teasers, Zach has been heard saying that his dad is putting money in front of the family, he's selling his family out, he's doing things to the family, he wants to make money over family, sort of that dynamic.
The temperature's still pretty high between my dad and me and Karen.
Hey.
Hey.
How are you?
After the farm deal fell apart, there's been some tension between us. But now I've got this new plan.
Wow.
If it plays out the way that I hope it does, I think life on the farm is going to change forever.
What are you doing?
If the kids decide they want to hate me for this, there's nothing I can do about it.
And you hear Amy basically talk about how, the family's never going to be the same. So then we found out 2 weeks ago or a week and a half ago, Jacob tweeted that he was getting the farm ready for sale. Well, the farm is now on the market. I actually got an email from one of you. You sent me the listing. I posted it on my Instagram, which is now disabled. But, well, not now that it's in limbo, where I shared photographs of the property listing. And then a few minutes later, maybe an hour, I don't even know, Matt posted sort of at the same time as the media was sort of cued into the fact that the house was on the market. So Matt made an announcement that he would be selling 16 of the 109 acres. So he said this: "Well, the cat's out of the bag. I want to make sure that you hear the big news directly from me. All of Roloff Farms has brought me and our family great joy for the past 30 plus years. Today, 16 acres of the farm's 109 acres go up for sale, including our original family home and bright red barn. It's a tiny bit scary, but mostly exciting. It's time to move forward the next season of life. The house is on the market along with 16 acres and some of the outbuildings that are connected to Roloff Farms. A lot of people were asking, Matt, are you going to include pumpkin season? Is that still going to happen? He assured people that yes, pumpkin season would stay the same for the foreseeable future. Now, he will maintain 93 of the 109 acres, and a lot of the attractions for Roloff Farms are actually a part of the sale. He's selling this for $4 million. Now, when he and Amy were on the show dividing up the property, and she sold out her half to him, or he sold out his half to her, or something like that, he gave her like $975,000. So he's turning it around and selling it for $4 million. And if that's the price that he wanted to sell it to the boys, that kind of makes sense as to why the boys would not be able to afford it. It's very expensive. Zach and Tori spent under $1 million on their house in Washington. And as far as I know, Audrey and Jeremy do not have that kind of money. I think they bought a cabin, but nothing of the $4 million variety. In the comments, some of the fans were upset because they were like, well, Matt, this is all about your legacy. So as Matt started getting more and more and more backlash, and people started to say, like, you're so greedy. I can't believe you're doing this. What about your legacy? You lied to us. I can't believe this. Because honestly, that's really what it's been about. It's going to be a legacy. So that prompted Matt to set another post, which said this, and this is actually what got Zach really upset. So he says, a big thank you to every one of you for your interest and support this week. The bad news, as you can imagine, is how difficult it was for me to put the 16 of the 108 acres of Roloff Farms up for sale. My ultimate hope was that the entire Roloff Farms property would stay in our family for generations to come. And he put that in quotes. I don't know why that's in quotes. And he says, keeping that dream alive at this point in time was just not meant to be. Unfortunately, Roloff Farms cannot be legally divided into multiple parcels. My twin boys decided not to consider working together toward a possible joint sale. Both of them, along with their growing families, had moved on to other interests and investments. And even though a substantial family discount and gift of equity was offered by both Amy and I still owe Amy a bundle of money, they decided individually that the timing was not right for them to purchase a part of the farm at this time. Based on that, turning the big 6-0 in my cranky old body, the decision was made so I could take steps toward my retirement goals. The good news is you'll never know what the future might hold for the 93 unchartered, pristine acres that do remain in the Roloff family for all of you to enjoy. So Matt kind of threw his sons under the bus and said they didn't want to work together. And because they didn't want to work together towards a joint sale, that's why he was forced to sell the farm. And if I'm going to be honest, the offers from Jeremy and from Zach came at completely different times. Jeremy and Audrey put the farm issue to bed like more than a year ago, but they're not on speaking terms, or at least they weren't on speaking terms. I think their relationship isn't very good at this point. So, I mean, if you aren't getting along with your sibling very well and things are kind of icy, do you really want to go into business with them? And, you know, Jeremy and Audrey said that there was strings attached, and I think those strings might have been that Zach, he wanted the boys to buy it together and not separately. The problem is that part of the property, it can't be divided. So you can't have multiple houses on parcels that can't be divided. So you're going to buy the farm, but only one family can live there? That doesn't really make sense, especially since he's keeping the 93 acres. Okay, so I saw that and I was just like, was it really necessary to throw your sons under the bus and make this like you're the savior kind of thing? And then I noticed that Zach was really upset by that comment. And Zach said this: "This post is extremely misguided and false. My dad is manipulating the narrative right before the season comes out. Once again, like he has for most of his life, not taking responsibilities for his own actions and blaming others. Dragging the family drama that he created and then manipulate the fan base to make himself come out okay. This post is a new shocking low of cowardice and manipulation of his family and kids for his own gain. A lot of the people that responded to Zach were split. So some of the people think that Zach and Jeremy are entitled. They have like the sense of like they should get something for nothing. They claim that Zach's never worked a day in his life. He's on reality television. Filming is a job. Whether you believe it or not, it's a job. So anyways, he is saying that this is not true for what happened. He didn't say actually what the truth was, but some fans said that he was being super entitled. They couldn't believe that he wouldn't be respectful to his dad. Other fans said that they saw right through Matt's post. They found the post disrespectful. They didn't understand why he needed to not only say that his twin sons refused to work together, but why did he need to add in that he owed Amy a bunch of money? Is that to make it seem like he had to ask for X amount of money? Now, in comments below that, somebody asked about the property, and he said, why are you having your kids buy the land? Why can't they inherit it? And he said, how does that work? It can't be divided. If one gets it, what happens to the other 3 kids? Not to mention who knows how many grandkids. People forget that there is only one of my 3 kids, he meant 4, that have a voice on the show. If everyone would just relax, they might see the wisdom in the final outcome. So in Matt's perspective, it can't be an inheritance because he says he can't divide the property into parcels. I think I told you this like a while back, but Matt's property has been it's been sort of pieced together over the years, and he's had to go through a lot with the county to get certain zoning regulations and changes to zoning to add them to the farm. And if you add to the fact that it's only 109 acres, that's actually a super small farm. That's not like the kind of farm that you can divide amongst 4 people, because then you're talking about 25 acres a piece, and that's less than a hobby farm. Hobby farms are like under 50. So I guess it would be like a small hobby farm, not like a big hobby farm. So he's saying, well, it can't be inheritance because then 3 of my other kids wouldn't get it, so therefore they have to buy it. So his process was they're going to work together. So someone made a comment to Matt, money ruins families. I'm sorry to hear this. And he said, money doesn't ruin families, land does. It is about money though, isn't it? Because he said inheritance. So if it can't be divided, then it's actually, I think, on Matt. If Matt knew that it couldn't be divided, if Matt knew that the parcels couldn't be subdivided and it couldn't be inheritance, it never should have been put on a carrot to the kids like it was a legacy. If he knew that it would only be able to go to one person, he should have been honest from the beginning that if you want to take over the farm, you're going to have to buy it from me, and I'm going to, charge you money to it. Now he says, I gave them equity, I gave them a family discount. But I'm guessing if the price tag was $4 million, I mean, even if at a reduced price, they bought their house for just under $1 million. They didn't have like excess amount of money. And then on top of that, if you're in a situation where you're going to be super close to your dad and you feel like your relationship is already like on the verge of like it's too stressful and it's too toxic, why would you want to put yourself in that situation? So I understand Matt's perspective, like can't divide the land. But on the other hand, I don't like that he brought his other son into it who doesn't have a platform on the show. Why bring up Jeremy and Zach's fight if it did or did not happen? We know that their relationship is tense, but it may or may not have anything to do with this land. And if Jeremy and Audrey have a tense relationship with Matt, which they do, and now Zach does, and Amy does, is it really Zach and Jeremy and Amy that are the problem, or is it Matt? Matt has put money ahead of everything for his family. He has made money off of his kids his entire life. His career with Little People Big World was around his children. He monetized their lives. I'm sure they weren't paid very much while they were kids. And now it's like almost a slap in the face to fans that this is what's going to happen. And in order to save face with fans, he comes up with the story about the brothers. Even if you don't like Jeremy or Zach, or even if you don't like Jeremy and you do like Zach, or even if you think Zach is a lot like his dad, I don't agree with the fact of bringing in Jeremy into this. And I also don't think it's necessary to win over your audience this way. There's no reason for him to explain why he did this. He doesn't owe anyone an explanation. And if it's going to happen on the show, let it happen on the show. It does bring up a whole host of issues with, like, it puts Zach in a completely, it makes Zach look like he's the bad guy and Matt like he's the good guy. And when it comes to family, some things are just better not said, and we don't need to know all of it. And why would you need to throw your kids under the bus so that you look like the winner and like you're the one that's making the right choices? Honestly, his story to me is if he couldn't divide the land, then that's on him for selling it to his sons in a way that he couldn't deliver it on and promising something that they weren't ever going to get. That's on Dad. And then Dad bringing up the kids to win favor with the fans is also gross to me. And then Dad, just 2 days before that, posting photos with Zach's kids as a way to sort of show to them like everything is fine, again, seems very manipulative. That's just my opinion. Amy's kind of staying out of all of this. Tori didn't say anything. Jeremy didn't comment there, but Jacob did make a comment, and he got mad at a fan, which I thought was weird. They said, I was hoping Jacob would take it. He seems to be the only one not letting the wives decide for them. And he says, you can't hear it, but I'm singing Obsessed by Mariah Carey right now, and consider this a reminder to call 911. Caretaker drive you to the ER for your terminal brain dead diagnosis. Yikes. So Jacob's been spending more time with his dad lately. So apparently he doesn't, that comment wasn't even rude. Anyways, what are your thoughts about the fight? Was it a cowardice move? Was it manipulation? Is Matt in the wrong? Is Zach in the wrong? What about Jeremy? What about Molly? Do you see Zach's point? Do you see Matt's point? Are you going to watch the season starting on Monday because of this? Tell me in the comments below. Bye, guys.